Death, huh? That's fun. Let's talk about some death. All in here, this is a video response to a video about death by Nifsi, which in turn is a video response about death from Charlie. So let's dig into this. Yeah, you should watch those before you watch this, because otherwise this isn't going to make as much sense. I don't want to tell you everything that they've said. I want to just focus on what I'm thinking. Hey, cars. Nifsi talked about a lot of good things in his video, and near the end he talked about death at old age and how it is important to put things in perspective and realize that a lot of us are fortunate to live in Western society where most of us will actually be dying at an old age, and so death is scary, but he talked about death sort of in that perspective. And most people talk about fear of dying just as fear of dying without completing what's on their bucket list. Just doing very big things and sort of leaving a mark on the world. And while I don't want to take away importance from those things, I understand those concepts, and I absolutely agree with Nifsi in that we should keep things in perspective and sort of be grateful for what we do have. I'm a big fan of that concept. I've talked about the beauty of mortality in general before, and that it makes things precious in perspective. I think that's really cool. But there are other spectrums that I also appreciate and explore, and so I'm going to do one of those things now. For me, when I think about fear of death, I don't think about fear of death when I'm 80 and on my deathbed and not having done the things that I wanted to do. What I'm afraid of is dying young. Although it is not as common living in a Western society, it still happens, and it's still scary. It's important not to live in that fear, but it has become something that has been a little more in front of my face in the past few years. I've had friends that have died young, both from illness and from just accidents that were really immediate, where you didn't have any preparation. And I've also been in situations where I've come close to dying. And in those moments, I wasn't thinking about all the things I didn't get to do, in the sense that I wasn't thinking, oh man, I've never jumped out of a plane. Darn, I haven't done this thing on my bucket list. I was just thinking about the people in my life, the people that I care about, and the fact that I wouldn't get to hug them one more time. I wouldn't get to tell people that I love them. And really, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that I'll die without having told everyone how much I care. And in realizing those fears, it has pushed me to start telling people how much I care about them, but the problem is, despite that, it is still so difficult for me to just tell people what I think about them in regard to me loving them. Some of it is me having walls up, and some of it is just me not being very great at articulating my feelings. But it is so beyond important to just let people know how important they are to you. And at the same time, there is a balance. You don't want to reiterate over and over again so that your words become meaningless and the care that you're displaying makes them numb to you saying anything kind. I just could be better at telling people how much I care. Because as people, we forget to tell people how much we care, and we also forget how much people care about us. We convince ourselves that they don't because we haven't spoken to them for 2 months, or you haven't hung out in a week and a half, or they haven't texted you back in an hour. But the thing is, so many people care. So many people care, and we just forget and we convince ourselves otherwise. And it's true, not everyone cares. It's narcissistic to think that everyone will. Sometimes people just don't like you, and that's fine, but often the thing is, a lot more people love you than you realize. And I want to have left this earth somewhat prepared, in the sense that I feel like I've let people know how much I care. Right now, I don't feel like I've done that. And I'm working on it, but it's difficult and it takes time, and sometimes you're not allotted the amount of time you think you deserve, because deserving is a messed up concept in general, but Sometimes things just happen and you're not prepared. But it's important to try and be. I don't know what's going to happen when I die. That's uncertain. What's also uncertain is when I die, but if there's one thing I'm certain about, it's that I care about a lot of people. And I want to make that known. I don't want to let fears cripple me. I want to use those fears to do good and important things. And fears have the power to do that, to make you realize what is important. Sometimes it's good to be a little afraid. Can we just take a moment and talking about death on the internet, bringing up thoughts, sharing those things, personal, just concepts, what's going on in life, that is so beautiful that just people who don't even truly know each other can just discuss this and bring up these feelings. That is what Neefsy's video did for me, and that's just cool. Living is cool, and I'm appreciating that right now, and man, it's good stuff. Oh, it's good stuff.